Greetings, Tecmo Super Bowl fans. This is Trojan, and in the booth is Pete T. Ptitteri. How you doing today?
Doing well, Troy. Always a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to seeing some high-level Tecmo today.
And as recordings go, that might be the first time I pronounced your name correctly. So here we go. We've got Odell in the driver's seat here, calling the matchup. Pittsburgh Steelers against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are played by Prime. This is the winner's bracket of the Tecmo Super Bowl tournament for GBLAN, and we're going to get right into the action here.
Let's do it.
Recording started just after the coin toss at the beginning of the kickoff, so not missing anything here. Out 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line, and looks like Prime's going to start with possession first. And we see Odell using GOAT Rod Woodson to start things out.
Yeah, this is a really good, fair matchup here. I think the key is going to be how much offense can either side generate, because it's really Steelers' strength is obviously on the defensive side. You got the superstar Rod there, and Buccaneers, if they can get any kind of ground game going here, they'll have a good chance to move the ball. But it's going to be tough with their poor offensive line and just stars on all places in the Steelers there.
And we have an early 4th down here. Vinny calls his own number. I don't think he made it. No, he does not. Turns the ball over, does Prime early here. And one thing I note here is that their run 3 that Prime has called, he has no pass play to disguise it. And what even more surprisingly is that Odell didn't care, even though they knew the run was going right to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes you just want the best guy in the field, and you roll your dice with him and see what happens.
Nice run there with Williams putting Mr. Wayne Haddix in the mud. And we see pass forward here and expect the rush here. And he does, throws it underneath to Worley, and touchdown Odell just like that. So Tim Worley with the early strike from Odell, and having Bubby Brister in the game, I'm assuming he's just trying to squeeze some throws in there with that higher pass velocity.
Yeah, well, we saw him execute some short passes really well there. There was that screen pass a couple plays ago that went for a first down. So short pass, really low risk, and even with Bubby, you feel pretty safe throwing that.
Cap out to the 9-yard line. And so Prime now looking, not masking this play, which is why Williams is the nose tackle is used on that play. Surprised he even didn't go with Little there and try to shoot the gap and dive in there.
Yeah, I mean, you see people take that nose tackle popcorn approach. I think particularly against the Buccaneers, as we see a big sack here. Just looking at the hitting power of the nose tackle, it's 31. I think that's the worst. So, taking on the center of the Buccaneers rather is always a good plan.
Absolutely, and I was referring more to just the ability to dive that gap there with no resistance. And now another called run here, so back-to-back 4th down attempts, and going nowhere is Prime fast. And now Odell threatening to go in here with a 2-touchdown lead potentially here. Throws it down against that secondary, and luckily there was no jump pick. There were guys in that vicinity where that could have happened. Worley bounces the run to the outside with some blocker help and into the end zone. So Worley back-to-back touchdowns on back-to-back drives. And Odell looking real good here early.
Yeah, after that somewhat dangerous pass, it just goes right back to Steelers bread and butter, runs it up the gut, and, Steelers have a big advantage on the line, and he definitely leveraged it there.
I know Prime has to feel, pretty confident in his abilities, especially with a mobile quarterback. But against arguably the best defense in Tecmo Super Bowl and one of the worst offenses in Tecmo Super Bowl with the Steelers, you got to think punting there is really the right decision, especially on your own end.
Well, I mean, he feels confident in his offense, and you can't fault him that. On the other hand, if you can put Odell in a situation where he's got to throw the ball a little bit, that's really where the Buccaneers could turn this one around. Because, you think of Haddix, 63 interceptions, but also the safeties are both above 50, the bottom cornerbacks have 56 interceptions. I mean, any one of those guys can pick off Bubby and turn the complexion of the game upside down.
Nice completion underneath to Anderson, who gets a nice gain there. So Prime moving the ball here definitely needs to get on the board here and start getting some stops and playing defense.
Yeah, I mean, he's been running the ball quite a bit, but I think as the game goes along here, we're going to see that taper off. It's just going to be really hard for him to get much momentum against Woodson, particularly the pitch on run 1. It's just not going anywhere. Run 4 is not going anywhere. Run 3 is not disguised, which, it's a good play, but against this defense with no cover, I don't see him having a lot of success with it.
We see another attempt to scramble there, and I mean, there you pretty much just have to chuck it up and hope for the best, right? I mean, there's no way you're going to get that scramble touch, or it's just not going to happen. Too many drones against Rod Woodson. It's statistically almost impossible there to get that first down on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you're used to, when you're controlling Testaverde like that, you're used to being able to squeak those out, but as we see another big run get broken here, and this is going downhill in a hurry here for Prime.
And now we see Williams, I think he wants to milk the clock down.
He's going to try and run some clock down. Interesting. He's feeling confident. What I was saying, usually with Testaverde, you're going to be able to make that, and you don't want to throw into coverage, and sometimes that muscle memory just kicks in, and you don't account for the fact that it's Rod Woodson closing on you.
Called pass 2 there. Throws it to receiver who was tackled. Underneath, this time it's incomplete. 3rd and goal from the 2 here. Run 1 up.
Goes right at Haddix.
Is able to burn a little more clock there. So Tim Worley getting it done, having a career game. I think before this game I never heard his name in real life, but he's taken it to the Buccaneers defense, and we have a 21-0 lead here for Odell.
I'd be interested in Odell's perspective on that play there, because it's not like he was going to run enough clock off that there wasn't time for Prime to come back and have a drive. Maybe he was just trying to run a few more seconds off and then get into the end zone there. It's hard for me to believe he intentionally got stopped short and then, had to run what ended up being a few more pretty difficult plays to get into the end zone.
Well, we'll see here how this all shapes out. And as the viewers may or may not be aware, the way that we're seeing this is not necessarily the way that they saw the game. There may or may not have been lag involved when they played, and so that may have also played a factor for him.
Yeah, seem to have some success with run 3 there. In this case, Rod Woodson ended up trying to lose a blocker there, and it took him a while to do it, so had a little bit of breathing room on the bottom.
And I think that was actually run 1 on that play that he went back to back.
Oh, run 1, yes, excuse me. Yeah, the offset eye pitch to the bottom.
And having some nice moves there with Anderson. Anderson's a really good running back, and I think an asset that's not used well enough by a lot of teams. You can put him in the wide receiver 2 slot for some speed as well. Depending if you get some conditions help, he's another weapon for you. I think he's in that same category as like a James Brooks and throws it up here to Carrier. And if you have to throw it, he's the guy to throw to.
But it's 50 receptions. So, I mean, he's same ability to catch as most starting wide receivers.
Well, I think his max speed is 50, is it not?
Yeah, it's 50 speed, 50 receptions for Anderson. James Brooks is a 56, I think is what I was saying.
And looks like Anderson decides to get out of bounds here. One more chance to throw a lobber to the end zone. So it looks like we're going to be throwing most likely down the field or to maybe to Ron Hall up top. I'm surprised he didn't rearrange his receivers here to see how it works out. Gets the JJ, but just too short.
Yeah, the time in there is tough, And especially, particularly with Testaverde, he's great at throwing those JJs, but it takes so long to get there that you don't want to hold on to it too long and just throw it out of the back of the end zone.
Well, Hodge on the return here, and he has the ability to run around for days here. One of the better kick returners in the game because of the offensive linemen stats. So Hodge is actually in bad and still moved around great because his stats are not tied to himself on that play. So here we go. We've got first down from the 30. We've called the 29 here. Dive play, run 2. And nothing to do there. This time Worley, I think Worley said, hey, I've done enough today.
Well, maybe he's tired. Another run right up the gut here.
Nice jukes with Williams there. And I think Prime might want to consider maybe a little more rounded approach with his defender movement, because when he's going straight at him, he's getting juked. So he's got to find a different way to get that collision with Odell. And now underneath to Williams, just gets it out of, well, it looked like he was going to go out of bounds, but the defender took himself out of the play.
Man, you see a couple of pretty high-level plays by Odell there with that juking run and then faking going out of bounds. That's some good stuff.
I think Prime is ready to go into the losers bracket. I think he might be mentally frustrated, and we'll see if he gives up here or if he keeps giving the effort here. And Worley getting it done. Coach says, I'm going to pull you if you do that again, and he gives him another good run. I'm trying to remember
another solid gain on the ground there.
If Cowher was still
sorry, go ahead.
Was Cowher the coach this year? I couldn't remember if Cowher had taken over yet. He gave him that scowl.
Might still be Chuck Knoll. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If you're a Steelers fan, then comment on our ignorance of Steelers coaches. There's only been like 3 of them, so we should be able to get them right. But memory doesn't go back that far.
And so Tim Worley with his 4th score of the game.
He's going to get a tiny 8-bit digital game ball, is Mr. Worley. So we'll see if Prime can play for pride here, put a good drive together, and it's just tough when you're looking at that Steelers defense and they're keying in on pass. There's a reason why I think they're the best defense personally.
They're certainly speedier than the Bears.
A lot speedier than the Bears. Better secondary than the Giants. High interceptions across the board in their secondary. I mean, they're fearsome.
We see another 4th down attempt coming in here, 4th and 11. Looks like it's going to be pass to
Chuck this one. Yeah.
Go for the cross-field attempt and incomplete again. So Odell takes over. We'll see how he decides to play this. Throws pass to, intercepted by Ricky Reynolds down
Ricky
at the
Reynolds
1.
sighting.
So first positive spin here for Prime of the day. But he has to pay for it by having the ball inside his half-yard line. And it gets out some breathing room.
Yeah, gutsy call. I mean, those pitch plays are tough on the goal line. You're one guess play away from a safety. But, then again, the other guy knows that. It's just part of the back-and-forth chess match. That's why we love Tecmo so much.
Yeah, and a couple more yards there, so 2 yards and 2 yards back-to-back. And now Vinny going over the top here. Nice play there.
Yeah, had somebody spring free and did what you would hope to see with Testaverde, which is draw him up with the run and throw over the top.
Tries a cross-field pass again, and it's delivered on target. Unfortunately, there's a defender there for Prime. And this time, looks like David Little is the defender he's using. He's got Cobb underneath, and it's incomplete. And
stone hands Cobb, tough break there.
And in the grand scheme of things, probably not the worst sequence here. I expect to throw up to Carrier, most likely. No, he goes underneath to Hill. Gets the first and lives another day. And at this point, with 4 scores and being player 2, the equivalence of being able to win this, I think the Falcons have a better chance of holding off a comeback. It's
well,
too
having
been
on the receiving end of many a blowout. At some point you're just you're playing for pride. You're proving to yourself you can move the ball, put some points on the board, and you want to go into your next game with a sense that you can play this game at a high level, and that you were turning it around as time expired. So.
And an interception is going for the JJ attempt there on wide receiver 2, and just a little behind the throw. It is the receiver, and it gets picked off. So Worley with the ball again. Hopefully no one tries to break his ankles or anything.
We'll see. I don't know that the Buccaneers are really known for being a mean, dirty team back in the 90s.
It wasn't until Warren Sapp came along.
Yeah,
Put a jersey on.
I was complaining the other day still about Warren Sapp breaking Jerry Rice's leg. I'm still upset about it.
I must have been some sort of screen pass. I never saw that play.
It was a pitch to the top. Went for 5 yards. Yeah, just runs it right up the gut. We're just kind of playing out the string here, letting the clock run down. And, it's tough when you see this matchup. I mean, certainly my instinct is to take the Buccaneers because I don't want to be stuck not being able to move the ball with the Steelers. But I think Odell showed what happens when that matchup goes the Steelers' way today. It's, moderate gains on the ground. You're getting 10 yards a pop. And then, you put the other guy in a pass situation, and the Steelers just choke him to death. So this is a great example of when this matchup goes the Steelers' way, why they're so tough.
And Worley takes it out of bounds to end the game. We have a scoreless fourth quarter. Odell takes this one 28-0 over Prime's Buccaneers. Looking at the stats here, Gary Anderson, only 4.3 yards per carry. 99 yards from Williams, but 165 yards total on the ground between him and Worley, and only 43 yards through the air for Strawman Company. So I know Bubby was in there earlier, but basically just one of those situations where when you get behind early against this defense, you can get real one-dimensional, and you can call pass all day and let someone try to run the ball on you, and it's not going to do enough damage in time.
Yeah. Well, the story of the game was really the first quarter. I mean, to his credit, Prime, he believed in himself, and he wanted to keep the ball moving, and he went for it on those 2 fourth downs. But that's the equivalent of losing 2 fumbles, really, and when you don't make it. Odell promptly converted on both opportunities, and then you're in a hole. So one of those things where you have a couple of things go wrong at the beginning of the game, and then you're scrambling to catch up, and things just get worse. But I know Prime's a great player, and he's gonna bounce back and probably make somebody pay for the pain he suffered here.
Oh yeah, let's see how he brutalizes someone in the losers bracket. I can't wait for it. So hey, thanks again for joining me here in the booth. It's fun as always.
Hey, glad to be here, Troy. Always a fantastic opportunity to watch some great Tecmo. And I hope that if you're watching this video and you're, a low or mid-level player like me, you're learning a lot from these guys. There's so many nuances to the game. There's so much chess match back and forth between guessing run, guessing pass. You think he's going to guess run, so you guess run, but he knows that. It's a unique game in that the deeper you get into it, the more interesting it gets. And hey, that's why we're all here still playing it like almost 30 years later, right? So
yeah, I think we hit the 25 year anniversary in 2016. This year it'll be the 26th anniversary, and there are people playing this game that now that weren't even alive when it originally came out, but it still holds that level of nostalgia for a lot of us, but it's still the gameplay at its core is still a fun game, despite whether it's an 8-bit graphic or compared to some of the modern games today. And coincidentally, our friend Dave F. Murray, who is the organizer of Tecmo Madison, now making some big announcements that's going to make it much easier for people to find our community, as well as get the whole process of getting into online games with people much easier. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're doing it the old-fashioned way, but we're looking forward to an easier way to play online Tecmo. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hit thumbs down. If you'd like to get connected to what we're doing, let us know in the comments, and we'll get you connected. We're going to leave a link to the tournament bracket in the description so you can follow along what's happening. And if you want to see more from our tournament and more of these games that we're doing commentary on, hit subscribe. You'll get alerted when we have them. So thanks for joining us for Ptitteri. This is Trojan signing off. Thanks for watching GBLAN Online Tecmo.